one of the things I would like to see is the metering system to be something other than the Porsche sepia brown color I think that it is right now. It'd be nice to, at a glance, know that red is your, or green is your accelerator, red is your brake, or for that matter, even an indicator showing that your ABS is kicked on. And as far as the force feedback, it has the blue meter going across, and when it peaks out, it goes red. Great. But do that with all the other bars. Pick a good color, pick a good contrasting color. Pink, I don't care. Just something other than this brownish whatever, so that everything looks the same at a glance while I'm driving. The next thing I'd like to see is some form of sector time. I understand the green, yellow, purple meters across the top, and your time showing you're 0.2 seconds quicker or slower than what you were previously. But it would be nice to know how much in each sector I'm gaining or losing at a glance, and some form of sector map or menu would be helpful to me. I don't know if anybody else thinks that's a good idea, but I'd like to know that, hey, I'm 0.2 seconds slower in this sector, even though I'm 0.7 seconds faster on average in the other one. And so I know that I need to work on that first sector, and by how much, as opposed to I'm slow or fast by a color change between yellow and red or whatever it comes to. And I'd like to see a number. I'll just leave it at that. Another thing I'd like to see is a ghost car. Love ghost cars, because ghost cars help me figure out where I can gain and lose time, because I'll take the same turn 20 times, and as previously mentioned, I see the sector time that I'm half a second faster, but in that turn I might be 0.2 of a second slower and don't realize it, because it doesn't tell me or give me an indication that I'm faster or slower until I hit the sector mark, or that I'm faster or slower by just the metric that's at least that I have on the top of the screen there. So ghost car, just says suggestion, guys. Love to see a ghost car to help me work on my laps. Another thing I'd like to see is multiplayer. When you scroll through the multiplayer screen, every time you click on an event, it pauses and it waits and it loads all the data. Then you got to click on the next one. It pauses, it loads all the data. Make it available so you can just click on each one you want and then hit the X button. Then it loads the data. Just keep this screen blank until we pick and choose, because scrolling through 10, 15 of those things, it's just slow. So there's a hint, guys. That would kind of speed things up and be a nice feature. Another thing about multiplayer is I would like to see the ability to get on the track and practice. The multiplayer screen shows up. There are 0 people entered in some of these events until like the last minute or two, because they're off somewhere else practicing. And so you're thinking, well, nobody's wanting to go into this event. It'd be nice to enter the event 15, 20 minutes or even longer ahead of time, or less, doesn't matter, and be able to go on the lap and practice and still show that you are loaded into that multiplayer lobby, I guess would be the right term, and or at least the server to get into the next lobby that opens up. So allow for practice and multiplayer that keeps you logged in to the server. Gran Turismo does it, guys. I know other games do not, but you can do this. All right, the next thing to me is the need for a fix. And I've seen videos on this, but nobody seems to have the same opinion that I do. And maybe it's because I'm using a PlayStation rather than a PC. But people talk about night driving, and I've seen a lot of videos say, oh, it's nice, it's good. It's horrible on at least my PlayStation, and I don't have a PlayStation Pro, I just have a regular PlayStation 5. And you'll see here what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're entering just the beginnings of dusk. And if you look at the dashboard on the car, you will notice that my headlights are on. As we go into these shaded scenes, there is no reflection or indication that the headlights are shining on the ground. I get there, that's sun glare, I understand that. But watch as I drive by the bleachers, or even here, you'd think there'd be a little bit of headlight. I would like that, because I have aging vision and I don't see things as well. and it gets worse from here. Now coming up on this turn, you'll start to see, actually you can see the headlights on the grass on the right, so that's better. And I'm fine with this in these dusk settings. You know, it's still fairly legible, but you can see the white markers around the curve, or the black and white curb on the right, and you can see down a little bit, and that's fine. But as it starts getting darker and darker, let's just say that I have had better light driving on roads in the forest that had absolutely no lighting other than my headlights, and I could see a lot better than I can see in this game. So here's some examples. So we're coming up to the same bend. Obviously you can see the headlight shine on the ground, but I feel like it needs to be farther out, and as it gets darker it gets even more difficult to see. Like those white markers on the far side should be a little more reflective, and I mean, look on the left of the lane, it's like I can't even tell what's there. I can barely see the cones. It's like the headlights shine straight forward. There's no side showing, I guess I should say, and I feel like there needs to be more on this game, and in my opinion it gets worse from here. Notice there's no like the street lights in the pit are not shining any reflection on the ground. So I mean, from my headlight beam forward, it's basically pitch black. And like I said, I've had better times driving in the forest with no street lights at all than what I'm seeing right here in this game. Okay, so look in the left window. You see there it is, the street light. There's no light being given off it at all. It's just a reflection. Here's, you know, the difference between headlights on, headlights off. And I just think these headlights need to shine a little bit farther, or there needs to be some other better lighting. And if you try to brighten your display, you're just going to see a bunch of grays, and there's still going to be no clarity to anything here. And again, with the PlayStation 5, there's no ability to adjust the light in the game. And I would, again, just pretty much pitch black from where my car is up forward. Now, I did not show this, but when a car is behind you and its lights are shining into your car, your whole dash lights up. And a cool effect. It's almost blinding, in my opinion. But I need to see the track. And when the cars are behind me and their lights are shining on the track, I get a decent view, and yet they're behind me. And so I would much rather have my own headlights do their own thing, but I feel like I need a set of lights from a Dakar rally car to see this track well. Yeah, missed that turn entirely. Had no indicator on where I was on the track because it just couldn't see anything other than what's straight in front of me for about, was that maybe 30 feet? A few metric guys, I'm not sure what that converts to. But I just feel like there's just poor vision. And this isn't the only track. I did this on Derby, I believe, too. Now, like I said, turn the lights off and you can't even see the sign up above. Fine, it's not a lit sign. I get that, but you'd think there'd be a better reflection or something off of it. Oh, I got to slow way down. And in light of this, the AI cars just walk away. They drive like they have night vision on. And I think they're probably still pulling the same times. I didn't record the replay. But this gets super, super difficult to see at least any decent amount ahead of you. You're like, where's the inside curb? Okay, I see the white right there. Fine. But look, there's the lights coming off of the pit street lights. Nothing. No ambient light there whatsoever. And then I got to make this turn. Oh, I didn't make this turn because I couldn't see where the inside line was going. And it just continues. I'm just not happy with the night driving on this at all. Oh, and even in light of night vision, just the headlights themselves. Maybe have a low beam and a high beam would be tremendous, but all we have here is a low beam. And it's I mean, yeah, again, I can see about 30 feet in front of me, but I'd blip those lights off. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of difference. Well, okay, that's an exaggeration. Well, I guess I just overshot that turn. There's not enough for me to see the inside lines of a turn and where the apex is or anything like that. And again, I would like to see that change. Another thing I wouldn't mind seeing is turn signals or the ability to flash your lights at somebody. Just hit a button and it flashes 3 times, like they do with GT3 cars, or the signals being allowed in there is to inform people of, hey, I'm a slow car, go around me. Those are just suggestions. The nighttime, I still think this needs a fix. There's something else. Notice that billboard's lit up, but there's no ambient light coming off of it onto the track. That's just not good. I think it needs, the engine needs to update or do something better there. All right. Anyway, those are my suggestions and tips for any upcoming fixes that you guys have. Hopefully someone will look into these things. And as always, enjoy.